There's a real riddle shaping up for central bankers around the world and the politicians they report to. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. Raise rates, that is. Everyone around the globe is trying to figure if we'll go into another Great Depression. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the same. But before that, make sure you press that red subscribe button along with that tiny bell icon to get updated every time we post new videos. Let's get started. Central bankers around the world have painted us into a corner, all of us. The only way to keep the frugality around and the expansion continuing was and is to keep rates near zero for as far as the eye can see. Don't fight the Fed is a mantra that has proven to be remarkably visionary when explaining the past year and a half. In March 2020, it looked as though the world economy was about to grind to an abrupt and destructive halt until it anyways didn't. Central bankers cut rates, offered solemn assurances, and overall managed to keep numerous businesses open and keep solvent those that were unavoidably closed. It's actually inarguably not, as some commentators would have us believe, a purely Canadian circumstance. The whole Western world did much the same thing. The plan worked with the help of wingman governments, which were going through money like grade schoolers going through junk food, with the singular exception of the light interpretation of the same approach that was taken in response to the world financial crisis in 2007 to 2009. The spend your way out of trouble approach had never been tried ahead. Back in September 2008, George W. Bush, then the United States president, said, "If money doesn't loosen up, this sucker could go down." That's not Shakespearean prose, but it illustrates that the outcome was far from certain. Mercifully, the plan worked. That's the good news. The bad news is that the drug used to break the problem of extreme stimulus created two new problems: asset bubbles in just about everything and an economy that has gotten addicted, there's no other word for it, to the stimulus drug. As with any dependence, the challenge is how to break it. To rephrase market commentator and strategist Peter Schiff's oft-stated thesis, central bankers would rather keep rates low indefinitely than raise short-term rates or indeed taper longer-term bond purchasing if those actions were to have chance ruining the economy. Being even a further hawkish could bring about a collapse. We agree with Schiff and have come to conclude that there will be no meaningful tapering or normalization of any kind until we're faced with the cruel, no-win profitable claim to do something about inflation that's conspicuously non-transitory. Here's a thought exercise. Ask yourself, what will come when central banks deleverage? They tried this in the fourth quarter of 2018, and we had to endure a taper tantrum when markets violently responded to the removal of stimulus. Indeed, as rates began to homogenize veritably slowly later, we had 3 rate cuts in late 2019 to forestall what sounded to be a forthcoming recession, considering a yield curve inversion before that year. Before any of us had ever heard the word COVID-19, the Fed cut rates 3 times, even though joblessness was at a 30-year low, and neither inflation nor deflation appeared likely. The current narrative dictates that bankers will keep doing nothing until they see significant proof of profitable enhancement, or until inflation becomes so obviously intractable and non-transitory that a rate hike becomes the only way to avert being called liars. Promising a rate hike is all fine and good for now, and the moral persuasion it harnesses is a believable public policy lever. This will hold until the day people cease to believe that central banks will follow through and actually do what they insist they're set to do. That's when the next global depression begins. And that's all for today's video. Let us know your views in the comments section below. And don't forget to like this video before leaving. Thanks for watching.